Alright, YouTube. I don't want to call you guys YouTube. I don't know what to call you guys. I'm just going to call you my friends. People. Alright, people. Today we are headed to CBM Motorsports and we're picking up the new motor. On top of that, we brought Pawnee with us. I don't know what her problem is. She's over there breathing all hard like she did something wrong. We're just trying to make it there in time, but this freaking GPS is like driving me nuts. The Missile Married giveaway definitely helped us out and it's helping us get this motor. And so just thank you guys. It's been a long day and I had to work today and people have been giving me crap at work. Anyways, we're headed to CBM. It's gonna be a good day. Whoop, whoop.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Did you already start filming?
Yes, sir.
Sick, bro. Alright, so we have the new CBM motor now at home, and we used our Tilton goodies that we got from what's in the box, and we mated our G-force transmission up to the CBM engine. Now this is just for mock-up. I'm going to be pulling this all off, and we have to do a little bit more plumbing for the throwout bearing, but everything fits and goes in well, so we're going to tear it apart and do all that stuff. But today what I wanted to do is I wanted to start dressing the front end of the engine. I went and stopped at the local hardware store, got some bolts, and now it's time to put this thing together. The first thing I'm going to put on here is our water pump that we got from CBM, which is just a takeoff water pump. A guy there was doing some upgrades on his car, so we were able to get one that had some AN fittings on it already. With that being said, it needed to get some gaskets. We went over to the local parts store and got those. And then we got some stainless hardware. I don't know why I'm talking and then finishing all my sentences like this. It feels like I work for a show called Top Tier. But yeah, so there's gonna be six bolts that go in here. They're M8 by, I forget, doesn't really matter. I need to put some washers on all of these. And I wanted to start dressing the front motor and get it going so that we have all of our accessories in place and nothing is missing or out of sight and out of mind. So I want to just kind of put all these pieces on it. I'll also clean up the area because we have the intake manifold there, power steering pump there, pieces kind of floating everywhere. So to start this off, I'll go ahead and throw a bolt through, and then throw another bolt, and another bolt, and one more bolt. And then we can take our gaskets and hang them on the bolts like such. It's backward. The rounds up top, squares in the bottom. And then we'll go ahead and put this up here. Oh shoot. Lost the bolt already. Oh my goodness. No! So we weren't really able to go and work on the car today and do some fabrication work because the boys were a little bit busy, which is fine. It doesn't look like we're gonna meet the deadline that we had set. Work has been kind of hectic. So in the meantime, while we're not able to do fabrication work, I want to at least get as much stuff done on the motor as I can. Because if you're not progressing, what are you doing? Probably playing Xbox. PUBG, I Killer Cupcake, add me, bro. But tell me that you're from YouTube. So I get people like trying to add me and then invite me places, and then I'll say like, yo, it's so and so from YouTube. So I don't know who they are, and I'm just like, if I don't even know where you're from, makes me not really want to join your party. All right, so we'll start tightening this up. I got all 6 bolts started. Do this by hand. Get it mated. Now it's nice and flat. Oh gosh, that's gonna be fun. Supper time! Jeez, try to get these in by hand as far as possible and then do the final tightening once the bolts are bottomed out. So one of the things that we are missing is the alternator. We'll get that one here soon. We're gonna go with a 250 amp alternator, which is pretty high, but what it'll do is it's set up to run that high of an amperage. It'll be able to compensate for our fan and for all the electronics that we'll be running on the car, which is going to be a lot less actually than what's on the Hail Mary there behind your camera. It'll have less because we're not going to have power windows and sunroof and things like that. We'll just have taillights, headlights, dashboard, ECU, and fan. I don't even think we're gonna have an external water pump. We will have a rear mount radiator, but I don't think we're gonna have an external water pump because this water pump does 55 gallons per minute, which is pretty hefty amount. What I've found in the past with working on rear mount radiator setups on this particular motor, with this water pump I should say, is that the 55 gallon is more than sufficient. What I'm learning is where you can make up some cooling time, because the lines are long, so that's like obviously a benefit. You have a little bit more time with the water. Another way you can make up is by doing a dual pass radiator, and so what that is you have radiator core and radiator core, and usually it'll fill and go from the hot to the cold, and it'll just kind of go into the tank and they'll go across the rows and then they'll come out the hot. Or you do a dual pass, and it'll have a hot and a cold. Half of your radiator will be split, so the water will come in, it'll drop down the tank, and then go through the other side and go back. So you're pretty much doubling the time that your water stays in your radiator, so it can stay cooler, or it has more time to cool down. And so that's what we'll do with the new car, which we finally named the Santa Maria. I like it. I used to say that a lot in high school. Santa Maria. When something would go wrong, or just for like effect. And I think that the Santa Maria would be a dope name, because it's another name of a boat, and it's my boat. So the Hail Mary was my first ship, and then the Santa Maria will be my second ship. So it's still a Mary, but now it's a Spanish Mary, you know. So the water pump's now on. That's pretty simple go. We already plugged these, which I would normally be doing myself. There's two ports that stick off of here, and these are heater core lines that go back in the Chevy. We would normally grab them with channel locks and kind of work them off, and maybe heat this even with torch. Pull those out, both of them, and then tap them, and then put plugs in them. This one's already done. So we already have this AN pressed in up here on the top, and then we already have the thermostat housing AN already on here, which is also made by CBM. CBM makes these pieces. The only difference is that this thermostat housing does not have a thermostat in it, and I will be putting a thermostat in it because the guys over at GM know a lot more about engines than I do, and so I'm just going to follow their lead because there's no reason not to. So this is the power steering pump that CBM has at their shop as well. It's like your regular GM pump, except they get tested and all that stuff through CBM, rebuilt, remanufactured, and then you can buy one and pick it up. So normally there's a pulley that goes on the front here, which is this one, which I also got from CBM. And it'll get pressed on like such, and then you press it on, and then you check the alignment and make sure that it's in line with like the crank pulley and all this other stuff. I'm gonna wait to put this on because I might not run this power steering pump. I'm gonna put the power steering pump on. I'm gonna wait to put the pulley on the power steering pump because it's a press on. I'm gonna wait because I might not run this power steering pump. I might end up getting the one that has the reservoir already on it because it's a little bit cheaper to run, easier to maintenance, and it's a lot more compact. So I might run that one. I've never ran this pump before. Not a big fan on changing things that I don't know if they're gonna work or not, which I'm sure this is gonna work fine, but I absolutely 110% know that the one that's on the Hail Mary works perfect, and it's clean and it's simple. I might just go do that setup and not have to run any, because I'll have to run AN lines and a remote reservoir and all that stuff, and I don't really care to do all that. It's not gonna make it look any cleaner. It's probably gonna make it look more of a mess, if anything. So I'll just throw this on here for the sake of, again, trying to maintain a visual on what we need and what's missing. So now that's on there. If we were to press this on, it looks as if it would jump in pretty close to where we would need it, but we won't know for certain until we press it on. So it might be a little bit too far out. I can get it to go all the way to this surface. Yeah, no, it'll line up, but we won't know for certain until we put it on, but I'm pretty sure it will. So again, I'm gonna wait on that. Got a tensioner with a brand new pulley and bearing in it as well, also from CBM. And so now it looks like what we're missing is just the alternator, which this is the alternator bracket. Again, something you can get from CBM. This will actually bolt on down here in this lower area, but I need to get hardware, and I'm also missing the alternator. And so we'll get the alternator. I'll find the hardware prior to getting the alternator, and I'll probably order the alternator tonight, and then I'll get the hardware that'll go through these holes here. This one kind of clamps the alternator. This one also kind of clamps the alternator and holds it in position. And then this one is just a third mounting point. And then this is just an idler pulley. An idler pulley doesn't apply any tension or do anything. It's just specifically for routing, which is why it's called idle. It does nothing. It just sits there idle. So that'll go on down here. That would pretty much, after, if I go get the other water pump or the power steering pump and I get the alternator, then I can legit just go and get a belt, a regular factory belt, serpentine belt, throw it all on, and the front accessories on the engine are done. And it's that simple. It's very, very, very simple and easy to do these LS engines. The next thing we have for this is the Fast Official intake manifold, the 102 LSXR. And this thing's gonna come in here and it'll sit pretty much like that. But one of the things I noticed is that we're going to be running an AEM digital dash. That's pretty close to touching that. I might have to make some adjustments here. Our big mouth throttle body is pretty close to touching the water pump. And when we suck it down, it's definitely gonna... It's already making contact and it's not even compressed yet. So I'll probably take this off tonight and then take it with me to work tomorrow and kind of make some adjustments with the sanding belt and trim it up just some so it clears a little bit better. But I think it's because I have an LS3 set up with an LS1 water pump, which is fine. I'm not worried about that. But anyways, so I have to get some hardware for it as well, so I might as well just take it all off. And I'm not going to put this on yet because we're going to be running the AEM digital dash. We're also getting partnered up with another company, which I don't want to talk about just yet because I got to wait for it to go through. But if it goes through, this valley cover here has a port right here that this one doesn't actually. But normally it would have a port right here that kind of sticks up and has some threads, and an oil pressure sensor will go in there. Which we're getting the wiring harness and we're going to get the computer, but I'll talk about the company after I get involved with them 100%. But if we get that, then we can run the stock oil pressure sensor in this location. We can use a stock coolant temperature sensor that's on the side of the head here, and all of that information will transfer to the dash, and it'll be just like the Hail Mary, but it'll be super clean and way less wiring and not as many sensors. And then it'll use factory sensors, so if one of them goes out or we have an issue with reading it, we can go to AutoZone and get another one. So that's kind of the benefit to trying to maintain as much GM parts on this as possible, is that it's going to be a lot simpler to find, fix, and get us back on the track. That's kind of the update for the engine. We're still messing with some header ideas and what we're going to do for that. I just wanted to kind of go over where we're at with this motor. Very, very excited to give you guys the specs. I don't know if I told you about them already, but real quick, it's a 6.9. It's an LS3A block. It's a CBM custom heads. It's got a 6.9 bottom end. Don't know the size of the heads, but they're freaking fat. But the compression ratio is 13.5 to 1, which means that you either need to run race fuel or you need to run E85, and that's to get away from like pre-detonation and things like that. What we're gonna end up running is poor man's race fuel, which is E85, because it's only $3. No, it's not $3 yet. It's still $2. Two something. Regardless, it's only like $2 or something a gallon, and we can still make a ton of horsepower on it because it still has a high octane to the fuel, meaning it just has a higher resistance so it can handle more compression. This is why guys go turbo and they put E85 in their cars and they can make more horsepower than they can on 91, because they can do more things with the tuning and stuff and be able to get some more boost and stuff like that out of it. But this is an NA motor, so it makes the compression from idle all the way up to whatever RPM we're going to shut this thing off at. So this thing's going to be a freaking monster, and I cannot wait to drive it. I want to do my best to get to 700 wheel horsepower. I've been told it's possible. I've been told it's kind of, we'll get close to it, and I've been told like no problem. But we'll see. We'll see what CBM can get out of it. Obviously other things come into factor besides just the motor. The fuel is a factor, how much fuel we can deliver to it and how much airflow we can flow into the motor and out of the motor. So now having a bigger throttle body and intake manifold and heads and doing a good exhaust system behind it, we should be able to flow air in and out of this motor super fast. And then it being high compression should be quite the doozy, making big sparks, bangs, and blows. Should be good. Anyways, I just wanted to give you guys the update on this motor. That's where we're at. I have a ton more to do, but it's coming along. I'm very excited to see where this engine can take us and what it can do, because that motor that's in the Hail Mary is a 6.8 stroker LQ4, and then this is pretty much a 6.9 stroker LS3. But that motor got down and it rips, and it's super healthy and reliable, and I have not had a single hiccup out of it, and I freaking love it, beat the crap out of it, and it hangs on. So hopefully this motor can do the same thing. I don't have a doubt in my mind that it's gonna. I'm just really excited to drive with potentially 200 more horsepower and the same chassis and gearbox and everything. So it should be a good time. This thing's gonna rip. I'm excited. Thank you guys as always for hanging out with me. I'll probably do some Instagram live stuff, some YouTube live stuff, and hang out. I don't know, we'll see. Everybody's hella busy right now. Work's been hella hectic, so I'm hella tired. Thanks for watching, guys. Later.